शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः।
नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्।
We were discussing the 11th Karika in the last session. Karya Karana Baddhau Tau Ishyede Vishwadayajasu Prajna Karana Baddhastu Dau Tau Tudyena Siddhyata. So you find to further elaborate the true nature of Turiya or Atman, the Paramartha Satta, the Karika is trying to analyze the reality from these three states, Avasthatraya, from two perspectives. It's called a Samanya and Vishesha Bhava. Samanya Bhava implies the generic or the general characteristics. For example, the generic characteristic of Vishwa, Tejas and Prajna, the three levels of awareness, is that during the waking state, dream state and deep sleep state, in Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, there is agrahanam, there is the absence of the awareness of the ultimate reality. That is Tattva Agrahanam. Tattva, the reality is not perceived. That's why we experience Jagrat state, Swapna state and Sushupti state. So the absence of true awareness is the generic or general characteristic, which is called Samanya Bhava in this context, in Avasthatraya. The Vishesha Swabhava is that in Prajna state, there is no Anyatha Grahana, there is no misapprehension. In Prajna state, there is only Agrahanam, that is, there is only non-apprehension of the reality. So, in Prajna state, in Sushupti state, there is no Anyatha Grahana, means you don't see different objects in Prajna Sushupti state. So, Anyatha Grahana means Rajju or the rope being mistaken for Sarpa, Bhuchidra, etc. When we are not aware of our Turiya identity, then we superimpose upon ourselves this body, mind, senses, sense objects, enjoyership, bhoktrutvam, kartrutvam means doership and enjoyership in English language. We superimpose all these because of Anyatha Grahanam, which happen in which happens in Swapna state and Jagrat state. But in Sushupti state, there is no Anyatha Grahanam, there is only Agrahanam because there is total non-apprehension. There is no misapprehension, there is only non-apprehension. So, the Vishesha Swabhava of Prajna state, Sushupti state is, in Sushupti state, there is only Tattva Agrahanam, there is only non-apprehension, non-awareness of the reality. Now, the uh, the uh, the Vishesha aspect, what you call the specific characteristic of Vishwa and Taijasa is, in Vishwa and Taijasa state, in waking state and dream state, there is this misapprehension, nanatvam, plurality, that is specific to Vishwa and Taijasa, that is in waking state and dream state, Anyatha Grahanam is there. So, this is actually, one may wonder why this kind of elaborate analysis. It is absolutely necessary. You will understand how the Bhasha builds up a unique analysis of the reality. And Shankaracharya makes a remark, we all want a very simple truth to be elaborated in abstract language. Then only we will care for it. See, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya is such a plain reality which, if you are fully equipped with sadhana sadushta sambatti or sravana manana nidhyasana, if you are an uttamadhikari, then Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya is a simple truth. But we want something to eat, something to masticate, something to chew, So we want this elaborate philosophical analysis. Shankaracharya makes a very funny remark about this. An average spiritual seeker wants something very elaborate, very abstract. Then only he will care for it. See, while Totapuri had to say Tattvamasi, and it was all plain to Sri Ramakrishna. But when we hear Tattvamasi, we want to go to Bhashya, we want to go to elaborate philosophy, we want to go to hermeneutics, we want to go to dialectical works, and we want to make use of the epistemological tools, that is the Pramana Shastram. So, Bhashya is building up a unique system to slowly lead us to the awareness of reality. That's a very important thing to remember. So that in course of time, as we go deeper and deeper into the philosophical system, our mind slowly evolves and becomes ready to realize the abstract truth. If it was Latu Maharaj, Adbhutanandaji, one plain statement would be enough. But for us, we need something really muscular, really physical, something very elaborate. So Bhashikara makes this funny remark somewhere in the Mandukya Bhashya itself. So that is the real implication of the 11th Karika. So now again, this Vishesha Samanya, generic specific analysis, that is the Samanya or generic or general characteristics of the three states is that in all the three states there is Tattva Agrahanam. There is absolute non-awareness of the reality, and in Prajna state the specific, the Vishesha Bhava is, in Prajna state there is only Tattva Agrahanam, there is no Anyatha Grahanam. That is one thing. But Anyatha Grahanam is present in the Vishwa and Taijasa. That's the idea behind. Now, the purpose is slowly to make clear to us the Paramartha Swarupa of Turiya. And because we are every day living in this world, in this Aparamartha here means, everything other than Turiya is Aparamartha. Mean the so-called unreal. And of course, in this context, we should remember, which we are going to discuss again, from the absolute standpoint, in Vedanta, there is no distinction between the Vyavaharika and Pradibhasika. From the Turiya standpoint, there is no distinction between Vyavaharika and Pradibhasika. But from Vyavaharika standpoint, there is a difference between Vyavaharika and Pradibhasika. I shall try to make this clear. If you are in a state of the awareness of Atman, then you don't see any distinction between Pratibhasika and Vyavaharika. At that state, that state is called Sahaja Avastha or Sahaja Anubhuti or Sahaja Samadhi in the Mandukya context, in contrast to Nirodha Samadhi. That is again, so that subject is coming up in course of time. When you reach the Sahaja Samadhi or Sahaja Avastha, you are actually becoming aware of your Turiya identity. At that state, you are establishing that you don't see any distinction between the Vyavaharika and Pratibhasika. But in Nirodha Samadhi concept, you have to do sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, you have to do karma yoga, you have to do bhakti, you have to do yoga and prayer and so on. Slowly, you just reject the reality of prapancha, and then slowly you become established in the reality of Atman. That's a gradual process called Nirodha Samadhi. At that state, of course, you are evolving from a state of ajnanam to a state of jnanam. But in Sahajavastha, suddenly you become aware of the true nature of your own Sarupa, that you are Atman, you are Turiya. Of course, to reach that level, one should have already made enough sadhanas, one should have made enough preparations, then only a person will be able to become aware of the Turiya identity. Now you can come to Bhashya. So this is the 11th, that is Vishwataijasyoho Ubhayabaddhatvam Samanyam. So that is Ubhayabaddhatvam. Vishwataijasyoho Ubhayabaddhatvam Samanyam. Prajnasya Karanamatrabaddhatvam Vishesha. That's the idea behind. Karana means Bija Bhava. In Prajna there is only Tattva Agrahana, which is the real cause of Anyatha Agrahana. So Prajna is the cause of Vishwa and Taijasa. So Sushupti state is identified with Karana, means the causal state. No, Bhashya, we already began the Bhashya. Karyam kriyate iti phalabhavaham, karanam karoti iti bijabhavaham. So Karyam kriyate iti phalabhavaha. So it's the effect that phalabhava, karmani prayoga I mentioned. Karanam karoti iti bijabhavaha. That is agrahanam. We already discussed. Tattva agrahana anyatha grahanabhyam bija phalabhavabhyam tau yathoktau vishwataijaso baddho samgrihido ishyede. So tattva agrahana, that is karana state, anyatha grahana, that is karya state. So tattva agrahana, non-apprehension of the reality, is the cause of misapprehension of the reality. You are not able to understand that it is rope, that leads to the superimposition of sarpa buddhi or sarpatvam, danda buddhi, all these on that object which you don't recognize as Rajju. So agrahana is the cause of anyatha grahanam. Agrahana is bija bhava, and anyatha grahanam is phala bhava. Tau yathokto vishwatayaso baddho samgrihido ishyete. They are bound by these agrahana and anyatha grahana. This Vishwa Taijasa state, that is Jagrat and Swapna state. Prajnastu bija bhavenaiva baddhaha. In Prajna state there is only Tattva Agrahanam. So Tattva, we should remember, here in this context Tattva means Turiya. That is the Turiya Avastha is Tattva. That is the awareness of the absolute reality. Tattva apradibodha matrameva hi bijam prajnatve nimittam. So the only explanation for prajna is tattva apradibodha. You are not aware of the true nature. It means you are not aware of what is actually in front of you. It means we are not aware of the Atman or Turiya identity. Tataha, though to Tataha here means nearby. So what is near Prajna? Vishwa and Taijasa. So that's the implication of Tataha. Though to Bija Barabhavu, that is Vishwa and Taijasa state, Tattu Agrahana Anyatha Grahani, Turiye na Siddhyatha. So that is an important point here. The Tattva Agrahana and Anyatha Grahana are not found in Turiya state. Now that's the main problem here. We know that Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna are the Spuranam, the expressions of Turiya. At the same time, we are told that Tattva Grahana and Anyatha Grahana do not exist in Turiya. So, Mandukya builds up this idea, when you become aware of your Turiya state, it's just like becoming aware of the fact that what lies in front of you is the Jew, the rope only. So what did you do with the snake idea, the crack on the floor idea? I mean the Sarpa Buddhi or the Danda Buddhi or Bhuchidra idea, all these, what do you do with that? All those things neither came nor disappeared. They did not originate, therefore they did not go away. So all these ideas originated under Rajju and disappeared on Rajju when you brought light. When you brought light, what happened? When you become aware of the fact that it is a rope only, what happened was the snake disappeared. In the sense, the snake idea was no more there. Only snake idea. The snake did not disappear. Why? Because the snake did not appear there. So in reality, Vishwa and Taijasa are like the snake idea. First of all, it did not originate. And if it originated, it won't go away. If it was really there, it won't go away. So, it was not there and therefore it did not go away. Like that, Vishwa and Taijasa, in fact, they do not disappear because they did not appear in the first place. That's why in Turiya state, there is no Vishwa, no Taijasa, no Prajna. But then, when we live in the world, when we are part of this empirical world, then we have to begin our journey. We are looking for our own true identity. And how do we look for our own identity? By analyzing our own empirical experiences, by trying to find a logical explanation of what we are experiencing every day. And in the process, when we analyze, we find that this world actually did not disappear because this world in the first place did not appear. That idea comes later. Na nirodho, na chotpatti, na baddho, na cha sadhakakha, na mumukshur, na vai muktaka, ittesha paramartha. In fact, this is the thesis of Mandukya Karika. It is called, this is basis, the logical basis for Ajadavada. The idea is, there is no liberation. Why? Because there is no bondage. Therefore, there is no spiritual effort. If somebody tells you, well, I have to work hard and realize God, then that God should be the result of your hard work. And anything which is the result of work, will cease to exist, will disappear. What originally exists alone can exist all the time. So if you say if your liberation is the result of your hard work, then that liberation is not worth bothering about, because that liberation is a result of some work. That it is a karyam, that's a mokshasya akaryatvat. Liberation or spiritual realization is not a result of any effort. Then what is the role of effort? This discussion and all that. These discussions will help us to remove the obstacles that stand in the way of our liberation. Just like the light you bring into the semi-dark room, it doesn't reveal the rope, but it does something very important. It drives away darkness. And when darkness is gone, then the rope is self-revealed. The rope cannot help being revealed. It is impossible for the rope to reveal. That's why Shastrantu Ajnana Nivartakam na Jnana Pravartakam. Upanishads do not take you to God, or you can say that Upanishads alone can take you to God. Then that God should be subservient to the Upanishads. That God is something or somebody is an idea that depends upon your understanding of Upanishad. But Upanishad, it's just like saying, well, because I brought the light, there was the rope. Even if you don't bring the light, and if you believe for 1,000 years that it is a snake, it is not going to be a snake. The rope is going to be there. The rope will be there, and the rope will not be anything else. The Rajju will be there. The Rajju is not going to be Sarpa or anything. Only when you brought light, which means you prayed, you meditated, you studied, you contemplated, all these spiritual sadhanas are important. Why? Because they remove the obstacles. That's called Ajnana Nivartakam. That is it removes ignorance. That's why the ultimate thesis is here in the 32nd verse of the, I think, the Vaidatya Prakaranam. It's here. Na nirodhaka, na cha utpatti, na baddho, na cha sadhaka. That means there is no disappearance of the world. And because there is no appearance, no creation of the world, and there is no bondage, and there is nobody who is bound, therefore there is no spiritual aspirant. In the ultimate sense, that's what I mean. In the ultimate sense, there is no liberation because you are already liberated. Only there were some obstacles. And those obstacles, they do not limit the effulgence of the reality. In fact, this is an important subject in the Vedantic dialectical literature, whether avidya is Brahmasraya, Jivasraya. So you find in the Vivarana school will tell you that avidya is Brahmasraya and Brahmavishaya. The locus is Brahman, the object is Brahman. But according to Bhamadi school, it is Brahmasraya and Jiva Vishaya. So there are Jiva Vishaya, Brahmasraya, already you find this Ubhayasraya. All this, I am not going to details. There are some contexts where these things will be discussed in course of time. So now in this thesis, na nirodho na chotpatti, na baddho na sadhaka. Bhashyakara says, nahi mano vigalpanayaha rajju sarpadi lakshanayaha rajjuam pralaya utpatti va. This Rajju Sarpa means the Sarpatva Buddhi or the snake idea superimposed upon rope. That is Rajju Sarpa. So, Rajju Sarpa Adilakshanaya Rajjuam Pralaya Ulpattir Nava. So, there is neither Pralaya. Pralaya means disappear, Nirodha, cessation, Utpatti, creation. There is neither origin nor creation of Sarpa, the snake. Nacha manasi Rajju Sarpasya Utpatti, Pralayova. Even mentally it doesn't happen. There's a big problem. When did the snake appear on the rope, the question is absolutely ridiculous because, first of all, the snake did not appear on the rope. न च उभयतो वा तथा मानसत्व अविशेषद्वैतस्य. This Dvaita Prapancha is only a mental construct. Now, the point is, this idea is a very important dialectical preposition. And that leads to a lot of misunderstanding in the subsequent dialectical discussions here. So you find in the frequently this na nirodho na chotpaddi na buddho na cha sadhakaka na mumukshu na vai mukta ittesha paramarthata. This idea is again relevant in the context of what we are going to discuss now, that is sarvatrik, interpreted as the sum total of the seer and the seen in one context and sakshi in another context. So in the coming verses you find. So if you tell somebody there is no liberation, there is no bondage, anything, it may create the delusion that it is something, some kind of a restatement of Sunyavada, nihilistic philosophy. Nacha Sunyavadinaka, Sakashat, Vailakshanyam, Mayavadinaka. Madhvacharya says Tattvadyota. So there is no distinction between Sunyavada and Mayavada. Of course, that is how Dvaitins put it, which we don't accept. So Madhvacharya calls Mayavada. Madhvacharya and all the dialectical writers of you find in the Jayatirtha, Vadtirtha and Vyasatirtha and others, those who, till the appearance of Madhusudana, who wrote Advaita Siddhi and Gurartha Deepika, this confrontation continues. So we have to remember, when we read this verse, we should know that it is not Sunyavada. It is the ultimate state of spiritual experience. And it is not a philosophical construction. So these portions of Mandukya Bhashya can lead to very serious misunderstanding. If you forget the fact that Shankaracharya wrote the most beautiful devotional poetry in Sanskrit language. He is the builder of 10 monastic orders. And he is the one who has installed temples, deities all over India. Most of the time, he was busy traveling all over the country, reforming temples, explaining how to do puja. Some of the puja paddhati that we follow today is traced back to Shankaracharya. So how do we intellectually or rationally reconcile this? Shankaracharya says, it is a state of spiritual experience that you reach, and it is not a philosophical construct. That's an important point to remember. Tataha dau tau bija phalabhavo tattva agrahana anyatha grahane turiye na siddhyataha na vidyete na sambhavataha iti. That means this Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna, in the ultimate sense, do not exist in Turiya. So in short, what it means is, Jagra state, Swapna state, Sushupti state, there is a common characteristic, it is Samanya, because of Tattva Agrahana, which is common in all the three states. But Sushupti state is often called the more important of the three states because there is no Anyatha Grahana. Therefore, of the two binding forces, only one is present. So Sushupti, in a way, reflects the reality much more closely than Swapna and Jagrat, because in Swapna and Jagrat there is Nanatum, there is Anyatha Grahana, there is a misapprehension. So many things are superimposed. There is a lot of vikshepa. That's why, Sushupti is considered to be, the Prajna state is considered to be a pramana for the reality of Atman, because there is the absence of the apprehension of dualistic objects In Jagrut state and Swapna state, because of Anyatha Grahanam, because of so much Viksheba, Nanatvam, so many objects are seen and experienced. Like Rajju is mistaken to be Sarpa, Bhuchidra, Danda, the rope is mistaken to be so many other things. So it is more cluttered and clouded. But in Sushupti state, there is only a state of non-awareness. And because of the absence of Nanatvam or Anyatha Grahanam, we feel that we had a very relaxed experience. So the explanation for the feeling of relaxation of Aham Sukhama Swapnam, this is Sukha being that pleasant experience, blissful experience of Sushupti, deep sleep is because of the absence of Anyatha Grahanam. There is no Nanatvam, there is no Vikshepa, there is no Anyatha Grahanam. The Bhashya takes up another very important subject. Katham punakam karanabaddhatvam prajnasya turiyeva tattva agrahana anyatha agrahana lakshanau baddho na siddhyata. So why turiyena siddhyate? So the point is, it is stated here, karanabaddhatvam prajnasya, the cause state in prajna state. And we already said in prajna there is anyatha grahanam, but there is karanabaddhatvam. But in Turiya state, this tattva agrahana and anyatha grahana. I mean, these three states, this non-awareness or non-apprehension and misapprehension, they do not exist in Turiya state. Why? The explanation comes, and now Bhashyakara connects one Kariga with the other Kariga. In fact, otherwise, Gaudavada's Kariga would be very obscure. I mean, you won't be able to clearly understand the philosophical connection. The connectivity will be totally invisible. So, Bhashyakara connects one Kariga with the another Kariga. Na atmanam na param saiva, na satyam nabi cha anudam, prakya kinjana samveti turyam tat sarvadruk sada. That is 12th Kariga. So there are some important words. Sarvadruk, this is an important idea. Turiya is designated, expounded as Sarvadruk. Sarvadruk here means when Turiya alone is there, even in Jagrut state and Swapna state, it is Turiya only. So Turiya cannot even be called Sakshi or witness in the ultimate analysis. So such an interpretation comes later. But that's only for you to slowly evolve, to help you to evolve. So the first explanation is given. It is the absolute, the fundamental explanation of Turiya Sarvadrak. Na atmanam, na paramshaiva, na satyam, na abhichandudam, prajna, kinjana samveti, turyam. Turyam, the same, tad sarvadrak sada. Bhashya comes. Atma vilakshanam avidya bija prasudam, bahyam dvaidam prajnyo na kinjana samveti. So, it is avidya, it is avidya karyam. It is the result of avidya. That is avidya bija prasudam. I mean, it originates from the seed in the form of avidya, or it originates from avidya in the form of seed, whichever way you may put it, will be correct. So it is atma vilakshanam. It is distinct from the absolute reality. Bahyam dvaidam. Dvaidam here means the external world, empirical world of empirical objects. Prajna na samveti. Prajna is not aware of this. Yatha Vishwatajaso. Vishwatajasa is aware of the external world. Now remember, Bhashya, the progress of Bhashya may appear to be slow and repetitive, but each previous idea is repeated here to take another ascent to the ultimate conclusion, that is, na nirodho, na chotpatti, etc. Equally, Ajadivada or Ajadavada, which is a special, ondo-phenomenological conclusion of Mandukya process. That is the ultimate conclusion. Now, if somebody tells you the world did not originate, one may think you are crazy. But at the end of Mandukya Bhashya, it makes so much of sense. You would think the person who thinks the world is real is crazy, rather, the other way around. So how to take an average person who believes the reality of what he sees around to a state where he is fully convinced, at least intellectually, rationally, of the unreality of what he sees around him. So you find the Bhashya's process may appear to be slow and repetitive, but each repetition of the previous idea is used for taking another ascent towards this Ajadavada. That is the impulse. So this repeat. So Atma Vilakshanam, Avidya Bija Prasudam, Bahyam Dvaidam Prajno Kinchana, Na Kinchana Samveti. So this Prajna doesn't understand this Bahyam Dvaidam, this external world, this external empirical world, the way Vishwa and Taijasa understands. Vishwa and Taijasa experiences the plurality or the diversity of external objects. Yatha Vishwa Taijasu Tatascha asau tattva agrahanena tamasa anyatha grahana bijabudena baddho bhavati. Now, the prajna is bound only by agrahana, which is the bija bhava, the causal, the seed form of anyatha grahana. Tatascha aso here means prajna. Tattva agrahana means ajnanam, avidya, or the wheel, the absence of the awareness of reality. Tamasa anyatha grahana bija bhudena. So anyatha grahana here is again a reference to Vishwa and Taijasa. Because anyatha grahanam is the specific Vishesha bhava of Vishwa and Taijasa, waking state and dream state. So, and then the absence of anyatha grahana is the Vishesha bhava of Sushupti, and the presence of anyatha grahana is the Vishesha bhava, means specific characteristic of Jagrat Swapna state. And the causal form of Jagrat Swapna state is Prajna or Sushupti. Yasma turyam tat sarvadrik. The reason is why agrahana, anyatha grahana, etc. All these are absent in Prajna state. The mention is clear that in Prajna state it is characterized by agrahana. Now the turiya comes. Yasma, therefore, turiya tat sarvadrik. Turiya is it has become sarvam. It has become drik. Drik means seer, experiencer, perceiver, the subject, etc. But then it is a subject whose object also is the same. So in a way, what we say, turiya can be called both drishya and drashta. It can be called a subject whose object is turiya itself, not different from turiya. That is sarvam, sarva, drik. Normally when we say drik or drashta, when we use, there is an implication that every drashta, every seer has a scene, every drashta has got a drishyam. But in the context of Turiya, when you call Turiya as Sarvadruk, it is in another sense. In the sense, it is Druk or Drashta, and it's what it sees, the Drishyam is also Turiya, non-distinct from Turiya. Therefore, it is called Sarvadruk. So, only in the context of Turiya you can say it is Sarvadruk. Now, this is the real implication of Sahaja Samadhi, as we call it, Sarvadruk. It's not a result of any effort. It's a result of awareness. Effort may be there because to understand it is rope, you have to go around, bring light, and you may do, it involves a lot of effort. You have to go in search of a light. So you bring the light to the room, and then you understand it is rope only. Again, the Rajasarpa Bhranti is one of the most classical illustrations. It has been used by Kumarila, the Bhatta tradition of Mimamsaka. It was used by Nagarjuna in the Madhyamika Karika, which is the Bible of Sunyavada. It has been used by Vijnanavadins, and Shankaracharya only used it in a much more elaborate way. So, the Rajasarpa Bhranti illustration has got many characteristics. First of all, it is an undeniable fact. It could happen to anyone. Secondly, the experience happens in a flash. You are fully convinced that it was a snake. Then you bring light. Now, when light comes in a splash, you realize it is not a snake. It is Rajju. And so the logical explanation that light is not responsible for the fact it is Rajju. Rajju is responsible for that it is Rajju. And the role of light is only removing the darkness, the semi-darkness that stood in the way of your realizing that it is Rajju. Similarly, when we realize we are Turiya, when we are Atman, then it is not the result of any effort. But effort made our mind ready for the eventual understanding of it. But the reality itself is unconnected to any kind of effort. That is the implication of mokshasya akaryatvat. Means moksha, liberation, is not a result of any work. Of course, this is a thesis, this is a statement that is leveled against the Mimamsaka's Purvapaksha, of course, in the Bhashya literature. Mimamsaka say everything is a result of karma. So liberation is also the result of karma. So they wanted to reduce moksha to a karya, the result, the effect of a lot of karma, anushtana. So, similarly here, sahaja, it is sahaja anubhava, or sahaja samadhi. Sahaja means you are born with it. It is not a result of work. Work is involved, but work is only to remove the obstacles. In contrast to Nirodha Samadhi. Nirodha Samadhi may be an implication to yoga, but I mean the Sabija Samadhi, the Bija Samadhi, etc. If you are interested, we already started a new set of classes on Patanjali Yoga Sutras for the Stanford Students Organization. Every Monday, 7:30 Indian time, and Sunday, 6 o'clock San Francisco time. Every Monday, 7:30 Indian time, you find this class on Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and with Vyasa Bhashya and Tattva Vaisharadhi and Yoga Bhashya Vartikam of Vijnana Bhikshu and Vajaspati. You find, of course, every Sunday, 6 o'clock in the evening for Stanford. Now, that's why it is said, तत्व अग्रहणेन तमसा अन्यथा ग्रहण बीजभूतेन बुद्धो भवति यस्मात् तुर्यं तत्सर्वदृक् सदा तुरीयात् अन्यस्य अभावात्. So sarvada sadaiva bhavati. These are important things. Even if you, or before you started your spiritual efforts, before you realize you are turiya, even at that time also you are turiya. Before you got Atma Jnanam, still you are Atman. So that is an important point, remember. Before you realize it is Rajju, it was Rajju only. So that's why Sada Sarvada. Here it is not Sakshi that is meant, that should be understood. The Sakshi interpretation comes later after this paragraph. Sarvadrak is different from Sakshi in this particular part of the Bhashya. Because Sakshi, if you use the word witness, the Sakshi should be, a witness should be witness of something which is different from witness. Sakshi should have something of it is a Sakshi. So that also can affect the fundamental thesis of Advaita. So Sakshi here means a Sakshi which is Sakshi, and also the object of his Sakshi is also Sakshi. Of course, that's why the word Sakshi is not meant here. Sarvadrik is the word used here. That is Sarvada Sadaiva. Sadaiva, Sarvada Sadaiva means all the time. Even before you started your spiritual inquiry, even before you ever thought of Brahman or Atman or Mandukya, anything, still you are Turiya only. Because you never became anything other than Turiya. The Rajju never became Sarpa in that sense. Sarvam cha tadruk cha iti sarvadruk. It is sarvam. It is drashta, and whose drishya is not different from drashta. It means so it cannot be called drashta in the ultimate sense. That is called sarvadruk. Otherwise, druk is enough. Sarvadruk means it is drashta without a drishya other than drashta himself. I mean, if drishyam and druk are the same. Because in the context of Jagrat Swapna, you can use Sakshi. That's what is going to happen, we discuss in the next paragraph. In Jagrat state and Swapna state, you are seeing different objects. So Sarvadruk could be interpreted as Sakshi. But here, no. Here it is your natural awareness. That is Sahaja Samadhi. It's not that now you are Ajnani, then you make a lot of effort, and then you become Jnani. That will go against the fundamental thesis of Mandukya. Na nirodho, na chotpatti, etc. No nirodha, no disappearance of the world, no disappearance of Dvaita, no disappearance of ignorance, because ignorance originally did not exist. Ignorance only an illusion. So how can you become Jnani without Ajnana in you? So you are not becoming Jnani because you are Jnanam itself. That is the thesis, the philosophical rationale of Ajadavada, means the doctrine of non-origination. That is special thesis of Mandukya Karika. That comes here. Tasmat na tattva agrahana lakshanam bijam. Therefore, in Turiya state, tasmat na tattva agrahana lakshanam bijam. So, in the Turiya, there is no tattva agrahana. And if there is no tattva agrahana, there will be no anyatha agrahana, because agrahana is a cause of anyatha agrahana. Non-apprehension is the cause of misapprehension. If somebody tells in Turiya there is no non-apprehension, it is tattu, there is no tattva agrahana, it's obvious that there is be no anyatha agrahana. Tatra tat prasudasya anyatha grahanasya api ata eva abhavaha. Therefore, there are two versions. One is tatra is the full stop is after tatra according to one version. Tatra is the beginning of the next sentence, another version. It's so both it doesn't make any difference. So this turiya is sarvadruk. It's just like fire. You can't. In fire, the blazing fire, the spark of the fire, and the flame of the fire, all fire only. You feel the heat when you touch the spark, the flame, and also the blazing fire. Same thing. Similarly, the same turiya expresses itself, manifests itself in Jagrat state, Swapna state, Vishwa and Taijasa and Prajna. Everywhere turiya only. Just like the same fire. That means turiya is only reality. Again, this is a state of spiritual experience that should be understood. And this idea is further promoted in the coming verse. Nahi savitari sada prakashatmage tad viruddham aprakasanam anyatha prakashanam va sambhavati. Nahi drashtuhu drishtehi vibarilopo vidyate iti sutehi. An example is taken, sun. Now, in sun, the sun cannot have its opposite in it. That's why Nahi Savitari in the sun, Sada. Sada here means, Sada, the word Sada here is used in the sense in the triple states of time, mean past, present and future, and also in the triple states of awareness, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. That's a true implication of Sada, Sarvada, etc. in this context. Time is mentioned in the context of waking state, Sthula level. And to make it more comprehensive, Avasthatraya is implied, means the three states of awareness, Jagrat state, Swapna state, Sushupti state, which includes the gross state, the subtle state and the causal state. So that's why Nahi Savidari Sada Prakashatmake. The example is taken from sun. Sun is always blazing. It is there. It's effulgent. Sada. Tadviruddham aprakashanam. No, you can't. Aprakashanam means is darkness. Sun is always effulgent. And how can sun have darkness? Aprakashanam. That is tadviruddham. It is against its true nature, against its Swarupa. Its Swarupa is always effulgent. So there cannot be darkness in sun. Or anyatha prakashanam, or any other kind of light. You cannot have a candle light in sun, because sun is always blazing. It is the principle of light. So just like the sun cannot contain in it darkness or any other kind of light, that is tadviruddham aprakashanam and anyatha prakashanam. Means either its viruddham is opposite is darkness or another kind of light, another state cannot happen savitari in sun. Vasambhavati. And that again is established by a quotation from Upanishad. Nahi drashtuhu drishtekhe vibarilopo vidyate iti sutekhe. We already discussed this quotation several times earlier. So this is one interpretation. Now this interpretation may not be fully understood by a beginner in Mandukya philosophy. So an alternative interpretation is given where Turiya is interpreted as the Sakshi of our experiences in Jagrat state and Swapna state. So the word Sarvadruk itself has two interpretations. One is as Sarvadruk, the Drashta, which is non-distinct, non-different from Drishya, the all seeing seer and all that is seen together, that's Sarvam, everything. That is the same reality present in Jagrat state, Swapna state and Sushupti state everywhere. Another one interpretation is this Sarvadruk Turiya is interpreted as the Sakshi of all experiences in Jagrat state and Swapna state. Athava Jagrat Swapnayohu Sarvabhudavastha Sarva Vastu Drug Abhasaha Turiya Eva iti Sarvadruk Sada. Athava, or another interpretation, it is the drashta of everything, and also Sarva Vastu Druk and Abhasa means, Abhasa means something that reveals, that makes effulgent. Understanding, Turiya is Sakshi. If you cannot understand, Turiya is Sarvadruk. That's an interpretation here. We will discuss that in the coming session. Now, if
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.